Oh, do you?
I know how to cut. I know how to edit off the front part of it. So
Okay.
as long as it starts and there's battery going, I think that we're going to be dandy.
So is it starting right now?
It already started. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And here we are.
All right. For another, this one I'm really interested in. So
Why?
I just sometimes get carried away and I just start eating lots of everything, all the munchies.
Gotcha.
And whatever's in the pantry, I start eating. Crunchy.
I get that. I like that. I'm very similar. Yeah.
Right.
We're ready?
Yes. I'm ready.
Last time we had the little sit-up chairs, didn't we? The stools.
Oh yeah, do you want those again?
I had stools last time. No, I'm fine. You guys okay?
Yeah. We're
good.
Do you guys care?
We can see you.
You're like, I don't care. Just talk.
We can see you and hear you.
Good. So, welcome to our May segment of The Truth About Fats, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. We did a little spin on the Clint Eastwood thing.
I like
There.
Clint.
I do too, yeah.
Mhm.
I did a spaghetti western over the weekend.
Oh wow.
So I am Chef Jennifer. I'm with Witnessing Nature and Food. My company is an all-organic, full-service catering company. I also do classes like this and food education, as well as teach cooking classes, and then we do deliver food boxes, do meal prep for customers. And this is our, what, 6th or 7th one that we've done?
Yes, I think Paul's been to most of them. So,
Yeah.
yeah. My name's Troy Albright, and I'm a practicing pharmacist, but also a farmer as well.
I am too now.
That's right. You
And
are.
I have tons of Swiss chard right now, and I just absolutely love it. The leaves are getting huge. My lettuce is very unhappy about the sun and the heat right now.
Yes, you gotta give it some shade.
It has shade. It's still unhappy.
Still unhappy. Cool it down at night then.
Yeah.
That's what you may do. So
Yeah.
I'm just excited to learn more about this. I got some
So we have
stories
our
about this with my
Little
son.
handout about the
Yes.
truth about fats.
this
It's a
is
tip
good.
card. We always do a tip card with every one of these, and then we'll do some other trick or something like that. So we've done everything from meal prep to testing, tasting some different alternatives to sugar and so on. So today we have oils. The one thing that's interesting about oil or fats is that we need them every day. And so we went through this age of the late 70s, early 80s of sugar-free and fat-free, where they created a fake oil. What was it called? Olestra, right?
That's right.
It's now called something else. And they put it in potato chips so that people would feel good about eating them, not absorbing the fat. However, it had other side effects, like it caused anal leakage and other things. And I don't know about you, but when you hear a side effect of anal leakage, I'm not going to eat it.
I remember.
I'm thinking nay. I'm
I
thinking
remember,
that's a nay. That's a friend no. Nobody wants you around.
I remember when they came out with that, and it was Frito-Lay's, the potato chips.
Yes,
and
yes.
I remember, new, better fat for you. And I remember I ate some of those, and I was in the bathroom the rest of the day. It did not settle. I mean, eating the whole bag, I'm sure wasn't the
Probably
an
not.
issue,
Yeah.
was it? So,
No, I'm pretty sure that eating the whole bag did not cause that.
yes, but I never touched those chips again after that.
I can't imagine. Well, they didn't stick around for very long.
No,
but
they
that fake fat is still around, and it is put in some foods.
But you don't remember the name of it now?
They've changed the name from Olestra to something else. I don't remember.
That's cholesterol with an O, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Olestra with an O. Yes.
Oh, Pringles was another one that I remember getting sick off of.
Really?
Yes. Yes, I would. I remember.
I think dehydrated potato
Yeah, it was something
flour
else.
created things are probably not good.
Right. So I'm trying to think what the other name is because I need to make sure I'm
we'll
not
have to-
eating those things.
Yeah, so there's a lot of, now part of the reason why I eat organic food and I make organic food is because I know that there's no added chemicals to my food, whether it be in the harvesting, the planting, the growing, and all the way up to me getting to prepare it so I can prepare it clean and I don't have to worry about counteracting any of that crap.
They're calling it Olean now.
Olean?
Yep, instead of
Ooh, it
Olestra.
makes you sexy, Olean.
Yeah, makes you lean, thin. I don't know.
Must be good for you. It's lean.
It must
If
be.
you see fat-free,
It's always a marketing guy out there somewhere, right?
anything fat-free probably has Olean in it now. Oh my goodness. Not even those.
So
that's why it's fat free. That's why you get thin, because you go to the bathroom.
Yeah. You're always in the bathroom.
yeah, it's colon cleanser.
Yeah, you know, that's what they should
Don't have to
call
eat
it.
vegetables. You just do Olean.
That's right. Goodness gracious.
Oh.
Shouldn't be joking about that.
We should not, but it is funny. I mean, that is really funny. You get the marketing guys out there. It's like, I think one of the reasons that I just kind of tricked in my head is probably about 4 years ago, or maybe, and I think the commercial is still on TV. It's and I probably, anybody that's watching the video is probably saying, she talks about this all the time, but they had a cow, a dairy commercial, and it said, milk naturally from a cow. I'm like, well, yeah, okay, of course. I said, but what did the cow eat? What did this? Because they throw out that word natural all the time. People go, it's natural. It's so good for us. If they saw how most dairy cows are treated, they would never eat another. They'd never eat another animal as long as they live.
Mm-hmm.
But fats are something that we absolutely have to have. And a lot of times we will buy a olive oil or any kind of oil that is good for cooking, and we will heat it to the point where it now has a chemical composition change and becomes a bad oil for us. So we're going to talk everything about how many calories are in the fats and different macronutrients, as well as all the way down to certain diets that they have that make it look like eating protein all the time is really great for you. But it may work for some people, but people have taken it and done some religious experiments with it and said, I can eat bacon all day long now. So we'll just talk about the facts about those things. So really, fats are really needed for you, and everybody needs different levels of fat throughout the day and different kinds of fats. I brought these ones right here because I cook with these ones. I use olive oil for 90% of my cooking. If I have something I want to add avocado flavor to, and maybe avocados aren't in season, I'll use an avocado oil, or I make avocado mayo out of this, so it's a completely vegan product with avocado oil. I use grapeseed oil to barbecue with because it has a high smoke point. I use sunflower oil when I make mayonnaises and dressings and cold things. And I use coconut oil when I make sweet vegetables or desserts, because it has a complementary flavor to something that would be sweet or desserts versus putting olive oil in it.
Can you tell me the difference between the refined and unrefined of the coconut oil? Because I have just recently started buying that and using it. My daughter is a vegan, has been a vegan over a year, and she's like really up on all this stuff. And I just went, okay, but I don't really understand why in some recipes I need the refined and some it's like
I don't think you need to
unrefined.
have refined or unrefined. I think that's just the way that they process it, and it costs a little extra to have it more refined.
I like it as least processed as possible.
So yeah, I usually typically use unrefined
So you,
products.
so unrefined?
Yes,
Okay.
this one doesn't. It just says
It doesn't
certified
say
organic.
just certified organic, yeah.
Yeah. I try to use unrefined.
I try to use non-GMO and certified organic. So grapeseed oil, there's not one that I found yet that has grapeseed oil that is organic. So I go with the non-GMO kind.
Yes. To me, finding things non-GMO is more important than finding organic.
Oh, okay.
Organic always implies non-GMO, but if you can't find it saying organic, but it's non-GMO, that's what then I buy
Yeah,
that.
because that means they started off with good seeds. And then
Right.
sustainably farmed is also important because then they don't use chemicals in the growing process of it.
So if you find something that's organic, it's by definition.
It is
non-GMO.
non-GMO, yes, it is in the requirement. It is absolutely in the requirement.
You know, I had read some article about how a lot of the oils have been watered down. Did you read that article a while back?
I have not.
They're talking about some of the oils, some of the high.
I think it's on the virgin olive oil.
Yeah, it was the virgin olive oil.
That's the one that is usually there's questions
Thinned
about.
out a little bit more.
Yes.
Purity, I guess the purity.
So extra virgin olive oil, typically, and they're not supposed to do that. This is a cold pressed. Cold pressed, I would find it hard for them to water down because of the fact that it's hard to mix waters with cold pressed
Not so much
products.
water, but diluted with
Diluted.
With other oils.
other oils.
So organic ones, they would not be able to do that with, and especially when they name. It's like wine, right? So if they name where it came from and what it was manufactured with, then they can't do that. It's when
down at
they
the olive mill down in where it's a Queen Creek,
Queen Creek, yep.
they say that is cold pressed.
Theirs is cold press, yes.
Yes. And again, I read different
And
studies.
I actually use in my commercial kitchen. I use the Queen Creek olive mill stuff. We just got finished going through the wholesaler experience, and now I just got my first order yesterday. Because I try to just replace everything with local ingredients, and it's been fun working with them. I like them a lot. Yeah.
I've been trying to get them to use my herbs, but again, they're so used to just doing what they're doing. So
They do their own thing. They're very good. I like them a lot. They do a lot of unique things. It's just forever out there. It's forever away.
Yeah,
Right.
it is.
It's forever away, especially for
I just
especially
what you
for
said. What do
cocktail.
you use the sunflower oil for?
Oh, I use it for salads,
Okay.
as well as when I make mayonnaise. When I make mayonnaise, I make a combination of olive oil and sunflower oil together. This counteracts the bitterness of the olive oil and makes it.
So you use it for making like a dressing?
For making salad dressings, just plain oil on salads, as well as I mix this and this together to make my own homemade mayonnaise.
Oh, okay.
I don't buy mayonnaise from the store. It's mayo jelly if you ask me, but because of all the crap they put in it.
yes. And those recipes are online on your website.
Mayonnaise may not be on my website, but it's on my cooking class.
Okay, but some of your salad
Yeah,
dressings.
a lot of them are. Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. So as far as macronutrients go, fats, the reason why we want to keep the fats down is because we really want to have good fat in our diet. Everybody's focused on cholesterol levels, right?
Right.
And so we want to have good fats in our diets, or high HDLs. And fat is very high in calorie content. It has 9 calories, or so 9 energy points for every gram of fat. Whereas carbohydrates have 4. Protein has 4, so that's why eating protein is better than eating fat. However, you should probably average somewhere around, and everybody, like I said, everybody's different. Women are a little bit different than men are. Probably average no more than 30% of your calories from fats a day.
That's what I promote as well.
Yeah.
Not more than 30%. Back up real quick. What about butter? Where does butter fall into this? And I remember when margarine, again,
I
this
left
whole
my butter. I left my butter at home.
Olestra,
Yeah. I left my butter at home.
Does butter fall
So
into this?
it absolutely does. Absolutely does. And so pastured butter, pastured organic butter is what I use. That means that the cow was raised in the pasture and raised on organic grass or feed, and that they've gotten the milk from there, and they've made it's better for you.
You buy one of local butter? Is there a
It's
local
really
company?
not a local butter. There is a couple places, a couple farms do some, but they don't make quantity, and
Okay.
you have to kind of travel to get it.
All right. So I
So,
know we buy.
I buy Organic Valley, and I
Yeah.
buy
That's
what's the one that it comes in 2 packages, a brown package that has the cow on the side that says Happy Cows, came from Happy Cows.
What about vegan butter? I buy like the vegan.
The Earth
simple-
Balance vegan
Yeah.
butter. So when I do vegan dishes, I use the Earth Balance. It is completely olive oil
Oh, it is.
formed, yes.
Okay.
Oh, is that how it's
Yeah.
made?
It's olive oil formed, yes.
Oh. So they're just putting some things to make it more
Mhm.
solidify it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I stay away from dairy. I don't make any dairy at all.
That's probably best
Yeah.
for most of us as we go down this
I have
path.
a
Dairy
sensitivity
is
to it.
perfectly good for baby cows.
Which we're not.
Which we're not.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are related to cows or
No,
horses.
no.
I mean,
Not,
And-
I checked.
And cow dairy does bad with me, but sometimes sheep and goat dairy is much better
Yeah.
for me. I
Right.
do much better with sheep and goat dairy
Yeah.
than I do with
I can do
cow
goat.
dairy.
Goat cheese is good.
Yeah, I just really try really hard not to overeat cow dairy, because I will absolutely get sick. And I love cheese. I grew up on a dairy farm. I love cheese.
Yeah.
And I grew up in a dairy farm where we get milk straight from the cow, right? And my mom would scrape the fat off of it, and she would pour it in our cereal. And I moved into the city.
not getting it.
No. Took forever having to figure out why I was not happy all the time. My stomach was always upset. It just was not a great experience for me.
Nope.
Not a great experience at all.
I grew up on a dairy farm too.
You did, I do
Yep.
know that, yes.
So
And so, in the late 70s, talk a little bit about this, the late 70s, early 80s, they came up with fat-free and sugar-free because everybody's worried about their weight. And we were well down the path of starting to create a lot of fast foods. Burger King, McDonald's were fairly popular. And so this, what was the name of the guy? Oh, here, I put it in here, Howard Moskowitz, because I always forget his name, so I put it in here. So it's basically taking your senses, and they use food chemistry to figure out how to make you eat something. Much like the cigarette companies put nicotine in your food, your cigarettes to get you addicted to it, they put, if it says sugar-free, there's extra fats and chemicals in it to make you like it, make it smell good, make it taste good. Because if you take the sugar out of it, it doesn't taste so great. And if it's fat-free, they put the sugar in, which if you digest your sugar and you have too much energy in your body, guess what? It turns into fat. So they put the sugar in it in order to augment the flavor of the fat missing. So it's called the bliss factors. So it's how to use your smell, sight, taste, sound, and convenience today to make you want to eat something that is not so great for you. It's like there's a lot of vegans that it is because they're all about animal rights and health, and there's a lot of vegans raw vegans because they just have problems digesting food, and raw food is the best thing for them. But then there is what I call the lipstick vegans, and I'll probably have some notes about this later, but the lipstick vegans that really it's about fad piece, and they basically eat potato chips and pasta, and they don't eat vegetables to eat vegetables. They stay away from meat in order to say that they're vegan because it's trendy.
interesting.
So there are a lot of those, and that's what the bliss factor was created for. I call them lipstick vegans.
Lipstick.
It's very pretty.
Lipstick
Okay.
pretty. So when you look at the research has even gotten more sophisticated now.
Mhm.
There's companies out there that just do flavorings,
Exactly.
like Pepsi and Coca-Cola. I mean, they're using even fetal tissue now to
I
create
didn't
flavors.
know that, but
Yes. I mean,
I'm
you
glad
can-
I
yeah.
don't drink soda.
You'll be amazed how did someone even think about using fetal tissue to come up with a flavoring for a soda? They're doing it.
I'm so
Yeah.
disturbed now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing what they're allowing.
But and I originally figured out because I was working in a corporate job, and I said, you know what? I bet you I'd have less stress working at McDonald's. So I went on the McDonald's website looking for jobs, and they had food chemists on there. And they were figuring out how to add salt and fat and sugar to burgers and french fries and whatever it is you're eating in order to make you like it better.
Right, because anytime you add salt, you can take away
It
bitterness.
enhances your flavor. Yeah,
Yep,
you can take
takes
away
away
other,
bitterness.
Yeah.
So if you
Exactly.
ever something
They
bitter,
can
you
use
add salt.
cheaper ingredients and make them taste better.
So,
Yeah,
So why are humans attracted to fat, salt, and sugar?
Because your body needs it.
those are
Your
all
body
things you
needs
need.
all things you need, and if you've had something before, like every once in a while, my body will say, "You need to down all that Swiss chard that's on the Tower Garden today," because my body's saying, "I need something that's in there," because it associates. Your brain is really smart, and it associates something that you ate to something it needed. And if you're addicted to sugar, your brain will say, "I need to have sugar right now. Give me sugar. Give me sugar. Give me sugar.
Oh, no, give me sweets, give me sweets.
Give me sweets. Give me sweets. Give me sweets." Right, and then
Well,
you'll go
like,
to.
Because what if people put Splenda in their coffee because it's sweet?
Splenda.
Yeah.
So what is
Just-
Splenda?
what is the
Splenda
bad
is
thing about-
chemical. It's
It's a
chemical.
chemical. Does it do anything to the flora in your body?
Well,
It kills it.
you know what it converts down to? What does Splenda convert down into your body to?
I don't know, but I had a bad experience with Splenda.
Chlorine.
Chlorine.
So is chlorine? What do you put chlorine in?
The pool.
To
Cool.
do what?
Well,
to kill
to-
bacteria.
And your gut flora is
Yeah,
bacteria.
bacteria.
So
Yeah.
it's killing your gut flora.
And even all that, even all the hype around antibacterial soap and stuff is not good for you because you need bacteria inside and out to be able to fight off. Now you don't need mold. You don't need
Right.
certain bacterias. Certain bacterias are bad for you. You should stay away from those. But you need bacteria in your life.
Yeah, I've been telling people not to consume Splenda. I was thinking because of the chemicals, but that makes
Right.
more sense.
And then, let's see, the saccharin, which is the pink package,
The pink package, yep, is sweet and low.
sweet and low. What does that convert down into the body to? So this is a chemist, pharmacist.
Right.
This is the kind of stuff that interests me. What do they use in embalming bodies?
Formaldehyde.
Formaldehyde.
Yeah.
It converts down to formaldehyde. So you're just preserving your body sooner.
Nice.
They don't have to do as much work.
Yes.
Nice, nice.
So again,
nice, yeah.
formaldehyde kills tissue, kills cells and structure and all that kind of stuff. Isn't this wonderful?
Well,
That's good to
yeah.
know,
If one loves iced tea, what does one sweeten their iced tea with?
Sugar.
Sugar.
Or what's a
Raw
natural
sugar.
what's a natural product you can use to sweeten it?
Raw sugar.
Stevia.
Well, stevia.
You can use stevia. You can use raw sugar, unprocessed sugar. You could use
Just throw some lemon in it.
throw lemon in there. Yep, absolutely. You could throw some mint in it.
You could throw a slice of orange.
Slice of orange. Absolutely. You could use fruit.
Fruit, I was going to say.
Yeah,
fruit.
that we use natural sugars.
Yeah.
And there's actually a new. It's starting to come. I started to see it more and more in the market. It's why can't I think of the name of it? Give me a second. I'll remember it. But sunchoke. Sunchoke is an alternative to stevia. It is also a sweetener.
What do they have?
All
for
natural.
monk fruit and all that?
Monk fruit absolutely does that.
So again, any that's making any type of products, they're trying to get away from processed sugar. And the processed sugar, there's a lot of different names for sugar now.
Oh, yeah.
What are some?
All the sugar,
It's no
alcohols,
longer.
and so on.
Yeah, it's no longer. What are-
Xylitol.
Yeah, xylitol. But what are some of the names that you see on packages? You're like,
Cellulose.
oh, that's
High fructose
yeah.
corn syrup.
So it's
Yeah.
no longer high fructose corn syrup. What are they putting on there now? Multidextran, dextran,
Yes.
dextrose, maltose. Anytime you see OSE, it's some sort of sugar.
Right.
So they're just disguised in the high fructose corn syrup now as something else. And again, they're being allowed to do this. Crazy. Just dress it up and.
That's why when you go to a Mexican. I went to a Mexican restaurant on the 5th for
for
Cinco de Mayo. Kelly and I took him out for Cinco de Mayo tacos and tequila, of course. And they had Mexican soda, so they didn't have any wine, so I had Mexican soda, and which one of the grapefruit ones, which I love. But it's like natural grapefruit. It is real sugar, and it's they put right on the bottle, real sugar, no artificial flavoring.
But what's real sugar then?
It's real sugar.
What is real sugar then?
It's real sugar. It says
what's-
sugar.
But what is real sugar?
Who's on first?
Sorry. So I know
Sorry, I
I was making
wasn't
my point.
asking you your question.
So what do you think of what is real sugar to you?
White cane sugar.
White's still being processed, isn't
Yeah,
it?
White
it
being
is.
processed, yep.
What color is real sugar?
It's
Brown.
a little brownish.
Brown.
Yeah.
It's a
The
sugar
less
beet.
processed, the healthier.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's why I kept repeating. I
Sorry.
know I wasn't making
So-
my point across, and I drive my wife crazy when I do that because I repeat the question. She's
And it
like,
it said raw sugar on the bottom. And I
yeah.
can't think
So
of
it's sort of again the whiter your sugar, your salts,
Your
it's
flour.
flour. It's all being processed with chemicals.
And that creates that bliss factor that they've used as food science forever or at least for the last 40 years, to figure out how to get us addicted to the things they want to sell on the shelf. And so I kind of believe that if it has a shelf life of a long time,
5 years.
it's probably not good for you.
What about coconut sugar? Is that
Coconut
good?
sugar is good. Yep. Absolutely.
Well, you have coconut products under the bad.
Well, coconut products would typically be, that's because they have a lot more trans fatty acids in them, but they are better than other things. So
I
coconut
see.
products would be like grated coconut with sugar on it.
Boy,
It would not be raw coconut.
my aunt and uncles put raw coconut on everything. It drove me crazy. I
Why?
hated coconut. Everything
They
had
put
coconut
the sugar
on it.
coconut on it, or
No,
they
it's
put the raw coconut?
Just the raw coconut. It was more of a Norwegian, German type thing.
Mhm.
Everything. I'm like pushing it, peeling it off, and picking it off, and it just ruined everything. Golly.
So if you,
Sorry. That's a bad childhood memory. They take something that I really wanted to eat and they put coconut on it.
What about pineapple? Do you find pineapple objectionable?
Pineapple, 80% of it is
Yeah,
is
unless
GMO.
it's from,
Yeah.
if it's not, if I eat it here locally, it just doesn't agree with me. But if I eat it from like the farm when I'm
Yeah.
in Hawaii, I have no problem, especially the non-GMO.
Yeah.
But the canned stuff, or even if I buy a
Because
pineapple
they add
here,
stuff to it.
well, realize anything that leaves and comes into the U.S. gets fumigated. They're having to spray these things.
Oh.
Okay, so same thing with the
Yeah,
nuts and
yeah.
stuff. I mean,
So the frozen pineapple, more non-GMO organic.
The frozen ones are fine
Okay.
right.
because they
Because
don't.
they're
But they're
marked.
frozen. They're frozen and they're marked no
That's what we
non-GMO.
do.
Yes. Yes, but when you bring, so the thing is that when you bring in, and I actually have a guy that I was supposed to get a phone call back from later this week to verify a couple of things for me. But when you bring in pallets of boxes on a pallet, wood pallet from another country, it has to comply with transportation laws, not food growing laws, but transportation laws, which means it comes with insects and so on inside of the packaging. So they require heat treated pallets inside of a certain date, and then as much cardboard as they've got, they have to spray the cardboard. So unless it's packaged really well and covered so that the fruit is not contaminated through the spraying process, they spray all the packaging that comes in.
So even the packaging that these might come in, what about bottles of oil and
Well,
from other countries? Is that all being sprayed then too? I guess
So
I never thought
the
about
outer
that.
packages,
The outer packages.
yeah. But these are all, you're eating the stuff that's on the inside.
if you're saying
Right.
from
So they're
another
protected.
country, what about from Hawaii?
Anything that comes into Arizona, California gets
Period.
sprayed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Goes from,
Not all states do that, but definitely everything that goes into California. So if it came in through Port of California,
it
It's
gets
been
sprayed.
sprayed.
That's what I'm thinking.
Florida's the same way. Everything gets sprayed there.
I was surprised back in February, we drove to California, which is the first time I've driven to California. And
And on
they
the
have
border?
a spot, they have a spot where they wanna check to see if you have fruit or whatever.
Right.
and normal people are no big deal, but the trucks, because Blythe right there is on both Arizona and New Mexico side, and they have a lot of farms going back and forth, so they want to make sure that they're not violating the transportation laws,
Gotcha.
and that those trucks are actually going through the point to entry.
They never checked that. They
I've been
slowed
checked
down.
before,
Yeah,
especially when they're looking for illegal immigrants.
yeah, but I mean, we slowed down and they just looked at,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
didn't search a car or
well,
anything.
they don't know if we have a pineapple or an
No,
avocado.
they're looking for
They're looking for
large
the
amounts.
commercial amounts.
Yeah.
Pallets of it.
Right. Which
Or
brings,
boxes,
brings
yeah.
bugs then. Bugs that don't,
Yep.
don't want to be brought to
Well, it
the
used to
state.
be in Arizona, right? That when I first moved here, they had oleander trees, but they didn't have other kinds of trees. And now that they've got all of the different trees that people have all brought, because Arizona's been a migrant state, and they have the trees, now we have as many allergy issues as anybody else does.
Yep.
They no longer send people to Arizona for allergy concerns.
Right. That's why we moved here, was because of asthma. So.
How you feeling
Not
about that
anymore.
now?
Well, the rest of us that didn't have asthma have a harder time with it. So, again, that's when you start eating clean, and the body can handle.
Well, yeah, because a
More
lot of our issues are food related.
Right. So, picking healthy fats is important. I know when my son was 5, and we went to this pediatric doctor that would never prescribe antibiotics. So every time his ear issues, and he'd be like, "You got to look at what you're feeding him. Got to look at what you're feeding him." So the one day after, because we take him, and he'd start coughing. So never failed. We take him to the doctors. He's not coughing as much. So on the way home, we always hit McDonald's because he always liked those chicken McNuggets. As soon as he ate 2 bites, 3 bites, he'd start coughing. So we finally realized that those things are fried, which then they're probably using vegetable oil or peanut oil or
Oh, they're
all the cheap oils.
probably using all the cheap at the time, especially they were
Yeah.
using all the cheap oils, and they were heating it to ungodly
Right.
temperatures that made them totally.
right. So it partially hydrogenated them. So the poor kid, finally we understood what was going on, and so we went to the pantry. And then here he's only 5. He can't even. He can tell what the word is. We showed him the word on the packaging. So we went to the pantry, and everything that we were buying from had partially hydrogenated oils. So we're overloading the system.
Oh, jeez.
Now he's 19. he's cut all that stuff out, and we haven't had those same issues.
Yeah.
He hardly has any asthma issues now.
Yep.
So it's really interesting. So here, that pediatrician, I thought he was wacko for not wanting to give me, an antibiotic for my son's ears. He's like, you got to figure out what the food is. Well, it was in all the box stuff that we're giving him. Cut
And
that
that
out
stuff,
and-
there's so many chemicals. If you read a label
Correct.
on the box stuff, it's just crazy to me how many chemicals they actually use in your food.
And that's what's nice about your oils. Basically, it's the grapeseed oil. I mean, it's you don't have the additives. That's
No.
what's nice. You get pure ingredients here. So if you're chemically challenged, you're not being exposed to lots of other things in there.
Yep. And even I have 2 aerosols here, so I use them to, like when I make popovers and stuff, I use Expeller pressed coconut oil.
Really?
And it is also doesn't have the aerosol stuff in it either.
That's what we use right there.
And the same thing with this grapeseed. Where there's no propellants in it at all.
Oh, that's nice.
No CFCs. Non-allergenic. I am a little concerned over the new marketing term that marks everything. It says gluten free on it. Like this one says naturally gluten free. Well, yeah, oil would not have gluten in it.
Yeah,
Right.
I saw it on a raw chicken one time.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, these are nice. I like these. So this is
Yeah.
way better than Pam, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is like the same issues you're getting ready to help me with.
Yes. It starts with what you put in your body.
So we talk a little bit about the good oils are typically plant-based oils. Animal-based oils typically have the same problems that humans have because we're all mammals, right? So you have cholesterol and all of those hormones and stuff that are in them because we naturally produce those things. So plant-based oils are typically the highest in omega-3s, which are good for you, as well as they are the cleanest. However, plant-based oils typically have a lower smoke point, except for olive oil and avocado oil. I would probably say that these 2 guys are very much good. So avocado has the highest smoke point. It's 520 degrees, and olive oil, depending on the olive oil, has a range. So if you have a light olive oil, it has a lower smoke point than a heavy olive oil does. So this is typically about 420. And I don't usually cook anything over 350, 370 anyways.
So for those of us that don't use a thermometer to check what we're cooking in, medium is what degree temperature typically? I mean, I guess if we look at,
It
I know
depends
there's
on
a
how big
difference.
your pan, and honestly, it depends on how big your pan is, how open it is to get air inside of it or not.
Mhm.
But I'd probably say medium will keep you under 400 degrees.
So boiling,
Boiling water, if you boil, that's on
It's
high, but
212.
it's 212, yep.
okay. So trying to give you guys a little reference range.
But you can always tell when you're watching your oils and you put it in the pan, if it starts to smoke, then it's already added hydrogen to the oil. Dump it out, rinse out your pan, wipe it down, and start over.
Yeah, we use avocado oil.
Do you find that you get a lot of avocado aftertaste in your food that you didn't want to have in your food?
No,
No?
I don't like.
I do in certain foods.
I don't much care for the coconut oil, cooking with that, because of the fact that I do taste coconut.
Everybody has different taste buds, right?
But
I taste it
avocado, I
too.
like it anyways.
Do you?
Yep.
So that's why I use coconut oil on desserts and
Yeah.
sweet vegetables. So like carrots and so on. And the rest of them I use olive oil with.
When you look at thyroid issues, coconut helps thyroid function better. Just a little sidebar for you.
So you would suggest using the avocado oil when you're putting it in the pan versus the olive oil?
No. I would say that you could use either one of these. Just this has a lower smoke point than this by about 80 degrees. And you just have to watch the pan. Because this is going to give, if you don't want avocado flavor in your food, depending on how well you taste different things that you put in, then you're going to want to use this. And this is just a balanced olive oil. It's not a strong Tuscan olive oil.
So when I'm making popcorn,
Oh, I air pop popcorn and I spray
that's no
on
fun.
coconut oil.
well,
And then I
that's
add a
no
little bit of salt.
fun.
I'm
I
so
put it
sorry.
in the pan and shake it the
Shake it.
old-fashioned way.
Yep.
So what oil should I be using?
Avocado oil. If you're getting it really hot.
Yeah, it does smoke. The regular, the
Or
olive
you
oil.
could just do this.
That's no fun.
It,
I gotta
it-
have that
I'm
taste.
telling you,
I was.
You'll be fine. I
Okay.
promise.
So spray that on afterwards?
Or if it makes you really sad, then you could always take and air pop it, and then spray just a little bit of coconut oil, not very much, and then put nutritional yeast on it. It tastes like butter.
Ooh, yes.
Nutritional yeast. So could I use this on the pan when I pop it first? Or
No, it has a very low smoke point.
shucks. So afterwards.
Yeah,
So the microwave popcorn is.
it's really bad for you.
It's really super.
It's really, really bad for you.
That's heating up way too much.
Yeah, he
And I
likes
actually-
the white cheddar popcorn that comes in the bags.
I would just go with nutritional yeast.
Nutritional.
And
yeast.
I actually, when I really want, if I have a hankering for cheese, I honestly will throw coconut oil on it, just a hair of salt, and I'll throw grated Parmesan on it.
Hmm.
It's a hard cheese.
I don't know anything about nutritional yeast, so I'll have to research that. So that's.
Yeah,
so
I
it's-
just started using that.
So it's like
That's really
butter.
good.
Tastes like butter.
It
huh?
tastes like butter, yeah,
Yeah, that's really good.
Okay. I'll have to try that, and then throw some Parmesan on it. Okay.
exactly.
They have it at Sprouts.
Do they? Okay.
Mhm.
When we make our kale chips. Yeast on it.
Okay. I'll have to try it.
Yep, yep, and it's very good. It's got, and it also is really good to help build the good bacteria in your gut.
Okay.
Yep,
So I sort of got sidetracked there. Sorry.
no
about that.
problem.
I just was concerned about.
And then we
popcorn.
talked a little bit about nuts. So nuts also, nuts are also, and I gave you guys a flyer on nuts. So almonds, as I've talked about in the other sugar classes, almonds are the blood balancing handful, 1.5 ounces or so that you have every morning, and it'll balance your blood sugar throughout the day because it has a lot of protein in it, and it's low in calories.
So my hand's a lot bigger than yours. So are we just talking 5 to 10 almonds probably?
You can go for broke, go to 20.
Okay. And we're talking about raw almonds.
Raw
nuts.
almonds, not-
This is all about not smoked, not
Not
sugar
smoked,
coated.
not sugar coated, not roasted, not,
It's always raw.
yes.
Again.
Not the ones with salt on it.
No,
Nope.
sorry,
The smokehouse almonds,
no.
They're good, but
They're really
They're good.
though.
Yep, yep. And then there's options in here for you too, because I have one of my customers wanted to talk about cashews the other day. I said, well, I'd rather prefer you have pistachios. If you're sick of almonds, then I would prefer you have pistachios instead. So I said pistachios are the second.
Why
Plus
is that?
cashews are significantly more expensive than pistachios are.
oh, yes.
Raw pistachios organic are typically around $15.99 a pound.
Wow.
Okay. Why do you like those over next? Or-
Over cashews?
Yes, or
Because they are really close. If you look at them, they're really close in characteristics to
Right.
the almond.
Okay, so
Very close in characteristics to the almond.
okay,
And they have a little bit more potassium in them.
right. I just hate having to take them out of the shell.
Oh, buy the meat.
Just-
Sprouts
oh,
has a whole container of them with meat
Yeah.
only.
You know how many I'd eat then? I'd probably eat the whole bag.
What if I were
That's
to
a
put it
conversation
in-
between you and your self control.
Okay.
Would it be okay, would you get the same benefit if you put it in your smoothie?
Yeah,
almond?
absolutely.
So sometimes
Absolutely.
oops, pistachios are red. What's that?
I
they
have
been-
never seen a red pistachio, honest to God.
They're
I've only
always
ever seen green ones.
I'm trying to think where those came from. I think they came from Persia, Iran.
Are you talking about the shell?
The shell?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, that was back in the day, right? They used to turn your hands all
Yeah.
Right.
fingers all red.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Huh.
But the meat was still green.
Yes, yes, but the shell's like this red, and it would get on your hands.
I don't
and
know why they
stuff.
put red on there,
I think that was an additive thing.
Was it okay?
just to make
Yeah.
it
Another
There
chemical.
used to be
Made it more fun.
food coloring on all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff.
All right, I like this.
But yeah, I included this. I just provided this because a lot of people want to know why you should eat some of these things. Also, I brought some conversation around almonds. So around olives, I'm sorry. So eating olives, but not olive oils, but eating olives, you can get a lot of nutritional value out of, and they're actually really good for you. They have a lot of micronutrients, as well as what is the thing I'm thinking of?
Or the phytonutrients?
Yeah, they have phytonutrients, but they're thinking about
Are you talking
Gosh
about the
dang it.
olives that are black, or the ones you put in your martinis?
Actually,
or what
all
are
of
you
them
talking
that you
about?
don't use that are the black ones. Don't use the black ones because they use lye to make them black.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
do not use the ones you use for Thanksgiving that every kids put in their fingers.
Yes.
So they use lye to make those. Do not eat those.
Okay.
Oh.
Do not
I
eat
heard
those.
those were the worst.
Yeah, do not
so
eat
you're
those.
supposed to eat the green ones?
That's clean.
Green ones, Kalamata, whatever flavor you would like.
Uh.
There's if you look at, you can actually go to the. This is actually from Queen Creek Olive Mill.
Yes.
They have what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 different kinds of olives.
I didn't know they made that many.
Yeah, there's that many different kinds of almonds or
I didn't know
olives.
that.
Yes.
Go
Yeah.
where?
Antioxidants is the word I was looking for. They have a lot of antioxidants in them to help, break free radicals as well as provide additional nutrition and break down inflammation, reduce severity of asthma. Mr. Olives.
My son likes them.
It helps prevent heart disease and colon cancer.
They prevent heart disease too.
Heart
huh?
disease and colon cancer.
Oh.
And it says, I haven't tried this yet, and I'm now, since I was reading this earlier, I was like, I got this flyer at home and I said, oh, good for that subject for tonight. And I looked at it and I go, helps decrease the intensity of hot flashes. I'm like, where was where was this flyer 10 years ago? But yeah, I mean,
So that's
if that's what it does, then
Oh,
yes.
interesting. Naturally.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
It's not on the top of the
Naturally.
list. Sorry.
Naturally. So, those Mediterraneans, they eat the little bit of olives when they're having a snack or whatever. And they eat a lot of little small plates with tapas. They have some
The green
reasons for
olives
doing
and
it.
these, Greek olives are okay.
There's Greek olives, there's
Black olives,
Kalamata olives.
Yeah.
It's the ones that the ones that have like basically no flavor whatsoever, and are in the can that the little kids used to put on their fingers, the pitted black olives for Thanksgiving. Those ones they make with lye. They get them to turn black with lye.
Okay. Guess we won't eat any more of those.
Now they're cross off the list.
Okay.
Ruined that one for us.
I'm gonna have to start learning how to drink martinis then. I guess. What kind of olive is in that? Is that the? That's the
I
big
think we
green?
could do the big Spanish Queen olive. I think that's the
Yeah.
Spanish Queen olive. Yeah.
Yeah.
The green olive with the little red thing
Pimento.
inside.
Yeah.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, that's on the list. Yes, that's good.
I love those.
We love those.
Yeah.
Gosh, I just haven't been much of an olive fan at all.
And then
so-
these ones right here are good though. The arbequinas. Those are
Okay.
the little small ones.
Oh yeah.
The little small ones are yummy. I love those.
Huh. They're like brownish in
She
color.
uses the word. I use.
Yes. I'm sorry.
I see you use the word I use. Everyone always says, "Why do you use the word yummy to describe everything?"
Oh, I love yummy. Yummy is a great word. But then, we talk a little bit about, the bad fats, which are hydrogenated oils or have had hydrogen added to them. They're gone above their smoke point. Meat, fats, lard, cooking with lard. My mom used to cook with lard, and she saved that stuff, right? She saved the bacon grease in a can. And when we were kids, we wanted to be brown, right? We all wanted to be brown, so we would put Crisco on our skin and go lay in the sun, or olive oil or baby oil or whatever it was, and lay in the sun. And yeah, those are all things that we learned were really bad for us, and we stopped doing this. We stopped doing in the 80s once we started figuring out the skin cancer problems.
So butter isn't healthy for us.
Well, butter is listed as a bad fat because it comes from milk, right? So I use butter. I use real butter. I don't use margarine or any of that stuff. I use real butter. But, and I cook a lot of French food, but even the French will cook in their sauces, they have a lot of butter in them. That's true. However, they cook their food with olive oil, which is what I do. And then at the very end, when I make fishes or steaks or something like that, I'll add just a little bit of butter for the flavor at the very end. You don't need it to cook with it the whole time. It actually burns. It has a high smoke. It has a very low smoke point, and it turns things black. So just add a little bit of butter, not even a pat of butter, to the things at the end, and they're perfect. When I make mashed potatoes, garlic mashed potatoes, I use olive oil and Greek yogurt to make them creamy. I don't
Greek
use
yogurt.
butter.
Well, that's cows, isn't it, dairy?
Greek yogurt, it depends. You have some that's made of sheep or goat, then there's some made of cow, but it's also got some different enzymes in it that taste more like sour cream, so you can get rid of having to use sour cream.
What brand of Greek yogurt do you like?
It depends on which one's least expensive. So I use the Fagi or I use the what's the begins with a C? I can't think of it, but I know that I just read an article about the guy that he made every one of his employees owners in the company.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, it begins with the C.
He took over a factory
Mm-hmm.
that was shut down because it wasn't profitable
Oh,
to make the
yeah.
yogurt.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he turned it back on again and started
Yeah.
making his own recipes.
So I like that guy. So yeah, I use those two.
Interesting.
And then,
are one of those like goat or sheep? No.
I don't know. I'd probably say no. Probably say no. And then the ugly. We talked about the ugly in fats is when you let your fat go to reach its smoke point, or you eat too much of it, or you abuse a diet like the keto diet that says eat all protein and non-starchy vegetables, and say, oh, that's perfectly fine. I can just have 8 pounds of bacon a day and 4 steaks. While yes, it will put your body in ketosis, it's really bad for you for all ton of other reasons, like macronutrient reasons. So my suggestion would be that you get your leafy vegetables in, stay away from the starchy vegetables like corn and
That's my
potatoes
vegetable.
and-
I thought that was a vegetable growing up.
corn is a vegetable, yes.
That's what we eat all the time.
That's what we have Midwest, right? We did too. We grew corn. That's what we ate.
Use it to make gasoline or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now it's all
gasoline.
Now
genetically
it's-
modified and
Well, yeah, and it's used to make gasoline. They use it to make high fructose corn syrup. They use
Right.
it to make all kinds of things corn does.
so does corn have a low smoke point? Or canola oil?
Canola oil, yeah,
It is.
very low
Oh,
smoke
okay.
point, yes.
Ah.
So you should never cook canola
Oh
oil.
my gosh. Yes, we went
You should use it. If you're going to use canola oil, then you
Yes.
use it for salads.
a couple years ago we went, there's a family that always takes their leftover turkeys and makes turkey tacos the
Okay.
next day. And they cook the tortillas in canola oil. Well, again, my son, this was what he was about 17, he was 17 years old then. He had like 6, 7 of them, and I thought he was gonna die.
Oh no way!
So he,
Poor
again,
dude.
partially hydrogenated oils. And so now whenever we do that, we always use grapes, bring over the avocado oil is what we bring.
I don't think you need to cook them in any oil whatsoever. I mean, just put them on a grill
Yeah.
and just flip them over. You're fine. I don't ever cook them in oil.
You know, well, they would do that first and then stuff them with the turkey and cheese. Some were cheese and some weren't for those that were, and then they'd go and cook them again. So,
Oh yeah, that's
And then they
probably really
browned
good for them. Yeah, there you go.
so he was so sick. So after that, now we always bring avocado oil, and that's what we cook with them in. They still cook some in corn oil, but just bad. So
Yeah, no, I'm not for anything like that. But
chicken skin's not good
if
for
you
you.
want to,
Poultry skin's not good for you.
I'm so sorry. Are you reading something you didn't know about before? You knew about it before.
I know. I just, as a kid, I always
Lunch
ate it.
meat, all of the nitrates in the lunch meat.
Right.
So that's why I get Sprouts. I get the nitrate-free lunch meats.
Well, that's what with coconut too. You buy coconut, sometimes they have nitrates in it.
Yeah.
We avoid those.
Nitrates. Nitrates like sulfates are flavor enhancers
Right.
Yeah.
and preservatives.
See,
Yep.
the more processed, the more chemicals.
Well, can I ask this question? Is that like, I'm now growing all these vegetables and stuff like that, but I have had a history, especially in my 40s, of having issues with like peppers and broccoli and cauliflower and
Indigestion issues or inflammation issues?
inflammation, bloating, and constipation.
So peppers can do that. Absolutely. Broccoli absolutely can do that.
That means your gut's not healthy.
Yep.
So you gotta get your gut healthy, because those are all part of the majority of those are all part of the cruciferous family, which it's sulforaphane, which is a very anti-cancer natural product in those. But if they cause that, I mean, you may have a sensitivity to those, but it's probably a gut issue. So you got to work on your gut, get your gut healthy.
Okay.
So take some.
So for
probiotics
me,
and
like
stuff.
green peppers, I can't eat them. Red peppers, orange peppers, yellow peppers, I could eat millions of them. I have no problem
Yes.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
But green peppers, they cause an indigestion thing for me. Not down below, but above. That just I do not like the way it feels. It's almost like you have what is the
No,
Reflux?
hernia?
that
Reflux.
reflux. Yeah, I have acid reflux when I eat white cauliflower and green peppers. Do not like them. But if you can give me a purple pepper, a purple cauliflower, or orange cauliflower, or green, or I'm sorry, red, yellow, or orange peppers, eat them all day long. Have just be perfectly fine. There's just something about those two that I have an issue with, and it's not here. It's in my throat, more in my esophagus than anything else.
Interesting.
I didn't know if it had to maybe do with like what they put on the vegetables that you get at the store, if it'd be different than when you're
So,
eating it
when-
naturally, like right off.
Do
off the
you-
garden.
Well, what they would put on the store is they would put some spray to make it continue to look nice. So do you wash your vegetables that you come from the store with vinegar?
Oh no, just water.
Yeah, vinegar. Use some vinegar.
Okay.
Not one part vinegar to.
No, I just put vinegar on it and then I rinse it off. Just put straight vinegar on it.
There's a lot of chemicals that are being sprayed on it. It's probably still a gut issue,
Yeah.
So coming off a tower, you might want to try it.
right? Yep, and you might even respond. Two things may happen. You'll have no issues, or you'll have an even bigger response. So start with a small amount first.
Yeah.
Don't go crazy. Like,
No.
oh, it tastes so good, and then
Because
later you pay for
sometimes when things are really, really good for you and you've had bad things, your stomach will increase that reaction until it figures out what's going on, because it remembers. Your brain remembers how you're supposed to feel, or how you felt in the past.
Oh, okay.
There's quite a bit of memory with the gut.
Yes, and it can take 9 months to fix that.
You talk about gut memory,
To-
right?
Yes.
Gut memory.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
It can take a long time to fix it. I have a lot of food box customers that want a quick solution. They're like, I've been eating this food for 2 months and it's still not. I'm like, that's because you need to continue eating it. And I have a couple of customers that go, yeah, well, I added a cupcake to it. I'm like, okay, start over,
Right.
right?
That's-
So
That's like when I started taking the whole food supplement. Oh, 2 to 3 months I was in misery, but then my gut finally got healthy or healthier, and things changed.
Well, what I've been finding by taking the Juice Plus tablets is that when I took a bunch of vitamins and stuff like that, I'd always feel this like full bloaty feeling, and I haven't felt that once.
Oh wow! So
it's
that,
amazing eating real things versus
Yeah.
processed things. What'll make you feel better.
Yeah, what's nice about that supplement is they take all the sugar, or take the majority of the sugar out of it, and then they're testing it to make sure that what they say is in there is just the whole, is just those vegetables or those
The
berries,
ones that are listed. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you're not being exposed to chemicals because it's NSF certified.
Mhm.
So again, you've taken something that's been minimally processed, but then tested to make sure there's no other contaminants. That's what I like. And that's what I
Exactly,
like
yeah.
about these oils even. You're
Yeah.
getting single ingredients. You're not getting 20
Right.
different things in there that you might react to.
Right. So you can figure out what it is.
Exactly.
So, just probably finish up on this keto diet thing. So, the good things to eat in a keto diet are seafoods, right? You eat seafoods, fishes, things like that. Non-starchy vegetables, avocados. Avocados have
so
fun.
you see food and you eat it.
I love you. I love
I
you.
see food and I eat it. No, there's a lot of questions about the keto diet.
There is a lot of them
So-
in nuts and seeds, and that's because. Oh, and I brought some of these. So these are these noodles that have no carbs in them.
no carbs.
They're soy free. There's no carbs. There's gluten free.
Interesting.
They are made with this vegetable.
Get those at the Chinese market.
Konjac flour. No, I got these at Sprouts actually.
Really?
Yep.
Miracle noodles. What do they taste like?
They taste like pasta, actually.
So do you heat them up?
You
or
heat them up and cook them, yep. So it's a non-soy traditional shirataki.
Shiitake?
Yep.
Oh, that's from like a mushroom.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So do they turn darker?
No, they stay completely like that. They look like rice noodles.
Huh.
Does
Stay
the
just like that, and you can eat
Does
them.
the texture change?
No, the texture stays the same. Yeah.
So why heat it, right?
Well, if you want to put sauce on it or something like that, people think that, a lot of people still have their cultural things. They want to make sure they have sauce or
This is a
something on
meat
it.
substitute.
it is, yes.
Do they make other products?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Huh. I like this.
Yep. So that is something you can use if you want to stay in the keto diet, but it's bad for you because the thing that they try to do is people take and say you're supposed to be good to others, and then they over exaggerate. I have to be good to everybody, including people that are mean to me, right? So you take and say, oh, I can have protein. I love protein. I love bacon. It'll put me in ketosis. I can eat a pound of bacon every day, and that's not good for the rest. It's not good for your heart. It's not good for your lungs. It's not good for your colon. It's not good for a variety of different things. So we got to stick with the non-starchy vegetables, green leafy vegetables, and nuts, seeds. You can try those noodles, and then stick with seafood. Seafood has good cholesterol and good fats in it for you.
So no fruit. You didn't mention fruit.
The fruit has sugar.
So does that mean
Sugar
like
keeps you
shrimp
out of
and
ketosis.
crab? Shrimp and crab?
Shrimp, crab, fish, salmon, cod, sea bass.
Usually you're
Lobster.
Usually you're not eating the bottom feeders. You're gonna eat more of the fish.
I'm not a big
Trout.
fish person, but I do like Alaskan king crab.
Again,
Yummy.
if you,
It is really good, and you should not dip it in butter.
why not?
Shucks.
What
I
should I
know.
dip it in
What am I
avocado
gonna
oil
get
or
in?
something? I
You
mean,
can
what
dip
can I
it in
dip
something.
it in?
You can dip it in
What
something.
about
Put
the
some
vegan
nutritional.
butter?
You can do vegan butter, yes. But
See?
still, just stick to a little bit of it. A lot of people take and douse that whole. It's supposed to be a dip. Sauce is not a food group. I'm sorry, Troy. No matter what you say, sauce is not a food group. Even if butter is the sauce.
Shucks.
I'm so sorry.
It's a good thing I'm not cooking all the time.
I've just started cooking. I never really liked cooking and stuff, so I mean I'm really trying to eating healthy and do all this right stuff. So like this has been amazing.
So again, figure out what works for you. I mean, if you can't tolerate, the cauliflower, the white stuff, find the purple cauliflower, or the yellow, or the red, or the
They're
orange.
they're only in season during certain times of the year. Right now is the time of
Right.
year that they're in season. So, yeah, just pay attention to what feels good to you, what doesn't feel good to you.
I've been using like instead of the American noodles, making sweet potato noodles.
Sweet potato noodles are fine, but they're still a starchy.
Oh, they're still starch.
Yeah, they're not as starchy. There's more fiber, but there's more fiber in them, but they're still starchy.
So you've got sweet potatoes, red potatoes.
Sweet potatoes or red potatoes, I typically cook with the most.
Yes, because they're the lowest
What about
glycemic.
the purple
Lowest glycemic.
potatoes?
Purple potatoes too. Yeah, those are fingerlings. You can use fingerlings. Actually, there's a lot more fiber in purple ones, and actually, if you taste a purple one to a yam to a sweet potato to a red potato, you'll see a totally different flavor. That one's far more
Earthy.
earthy. Yeah. I'll
My
use
wife
the
doesn't
earthy
like
word.
it. So let's back up. What's the difference between yam and sweet potatoes? I know
Amount
they
of
look
sugar
different.
in it. No, not necessarily. There are sweet potatoes that are white, and there are sweet potatoes that are orange. So there's two different kinds of sweet potatoes. There's white sweet potatoes and there's orange sweet potatoes, and then there's yams. And yams are far more starchy.
Stick to sweet potatoes. And the orange ones, right?
Yes.
All right.
And don't take the skin off of them. Just eat the skin too. All the vitamins are in the skin. Michele's like, when we first started dating, he's like, he'd start to peel. I'm like, don't you peel the potatoes? It's like, we peel the potatoes in Italy. Like, nope, you don't peel the potatoes.
Splash them.
Just wash them.
So
Take
again,
off the strings.
as you go down this path, figure out what oils work for you.
And
That way-
don't try to eat them all in one day. Do one for 1 week.
No,
and
I have olive oil and then I have the coconut oil, but I didn't know, I wasn't sure what you used. You know, I'd seen avocado oil, but I was unsure about what you do with that and the grapeseed and the sunflower. So now I have
Grapeseed
a
I
little better
only
idea.
grill with grapeseed oil. It sticks to the, it helps prevent sticking to the grill so much better. I only use grapeseed oil for grilling. And I don't ever cook with sunflower oil. I do with coconut oil a little bit when I make desserts. But these two are my primary go-to guys. And just a little bit of butter to finish off something to get the get the butter flavor, but not all the calories and crap that comes along with it.
And avocado oil for most of when you're cooking on the stove.
No, I cook on the stove a lot with olive oil.
Okay.
You just have to make sure it's not a light olive oil. Light olive oil has olive oils have a range of smoke points. I wish that they would put it on the bottle as to which one each of these are, but
Right.
I was told there was a difference too on depending on the quality of olive oil, that it's better for you, like if it's a
that's
higher
a true statement, totally true statement. So,
So
if you
you-
find people that mix different olives together to get the olive oil, it may not be as good a quality.
Would you mind suggesting like a name of one that you would consider a good one?
Olive oil.
Yeah.
I usually try to find from Italy.
Yeah, from Italy is good, but they do mix certain. I mean, it's just like wine, right? You have to have a certain percentage of a main olive in it.
Yeah, we like the one from Queen Creek.
I use
Olive
Queen
milk?
Creek for personally. I've always used Queen Creek. I got this one because we were out of olive oil in the commercial kitchen, and I had to run to the store, and this was the only organic one, and it came as buy one get one free.
I like those.
So that's how this one ended up in my bag. But it's unfiltered.
Cold pressed. That's the main thing I look
Cold
for.
pressed?
Cold pressed.
Cold press.
It's unfiltered, cold pressed,
And I like the fact that it's non-GMO.
non-GMO. Yep, it's all organic.
Yep. USDA. Yep. And it costs a
My
lot of
glasses
money.
are not small enough to be able to read what that other sign is on there, but
It costs a lot of money to get the non-GMO verified stamp if it's on there as well, and that's expensive.
it does. Yes, absolutely. Yes. And it comes with a little Thomas Jefferson quote. It says, "The olive tree is surely the richest gift of heaven." I'm sure we didn't pay for that part.
Not the blossoms.
Any other questions you guys have? Was this helpful for you?
Yeah.
Or
Very
you
much.
have more questions?
So when do you use avocado oil?
I
Popcorn?
use it. No, I don't ever use popcorn. I could not imagine putting
He's trying
avocado
to
on my
force you into a
popcorn.
corner.
No, avocado oil I use on things that I'm going to want an avocado flavor to. So if I was going to make your tacos, I'd probably use olive oil to saute the turkey. But I would never put oil on my tortillas.
Well, avocado's a very mild taste anyways. To me anyway.
It's not always for me. I would put it on my eggs.
I miss I have for the olive oil non-GMO, cold pressed, and then I miss the first thing.
Unfiltered,
Unfiltered.
and generally from a Mediterranean country.
Oh, yeah.
Italy's good, Israel's good.
Yeah, when you find an olive oil you really like, that's what you stick with.
Yeah, and then the Queen Creek Olive Mill right here, local. I buy local a lot, so Queen Creek Olive Mill.
You know, there's
And they have two stores. They have one that's out in Queen Creek, and then they have the one that is in I don't know where you guys live. It's in Scottsdale at Kierland,
there's a guy that
and
goes
you can have
around.
it shipped to you for $7.
There's a guy that goes around and rates the farms
Mm-hmm.
and verifies. I'm trying to think what his name is. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do know who you're talking about.
And so there's always some question about these farms that have X amount of trees on. So what he does is he does aerial shots of the farm, calculates how many olive trees are on that farm, and then compares it to what they're producing.
The production.
And he finds some interesting things all the time. Because a lot of times these farms will say they produce everything, Well, he's done.
Queen Creek Olive Mill does not ever say that. They say that they partner
Yeah.
with other people.
Yeah,
to
they
get
used to
olives.
say it was all. They used to. So now they've changed it because that was a big. This was what 2-3 years ago. It was a big article about all these farms and they talked about the olive mill farm and
Did they?
there's no way they could be producing the amount they were on their own farm because this guy goes all over the world and does this, and he calls them out when they get caught, where they're partnering or they're adding other olive oil to their olives to get to the quantity that they're producing. So that's good that they've changed that.
They do, and they list on their materials that they are non-GMO, which I don't think there's any olives that are GMO anyways, but or trees even. I don't think there's trees that are all GMO, but that they use sustainable farming practices and they use no chemicals whatsoever. So they use smoking for insect and they use burning for weeds. So
Yeah, it's nice. I've tried a lot of their different olives there, and we like them. It's just a matter of getting down to the stores there. So
yeah,
not
it's
as
just
convenient.
it's not convenient at all. I wish they had one in the even Central Phoenix. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, it'd make it easier. So
Yeah.
That's good.
Because it's a fantastic place, and they've turned it into a great venue too.
Yes, they have. It's a nice, especially in the evening when the sun's
Oh,
going
yeah.
I
down.
have a spectacular idea, Troy. We should talk to them about maybe partnering with us here.
Well, we have, but they're already pretty set on how they do things.
And that's okay.
And when we brought them our herbs were a lot more potent, so they'd have to sort of rework their formulas, how they do things. And so again, when you have something that's working, why there's nothing that's there to make until you have customers that say this isn't the best you can do, they don't change anything.
Right.
Nobody does. If you have your formula and it's working, then
Yeah. So like in my industry, as we identify different natural products that are better, our formulas get updated. For example, black pepper extract. You can put black pepper extract in whatever, and it has a synergy effect where it actually enhances whatever you put in there. So if you're using turmeric or vitamin C or whatever you've got, your B vitamins, it'll enhance those B vitamins. It'll enhance those other products. So again, adding black pepper to what you're cooking enhances
Yeah,
those products.
I have heard that.
So it's really interesting to see. So there's a lot of data and research showing these things are good for us, and you're starting to see them show up in some of your products.
yeah. Even cayenne pepper is an anti-inflammatory.
Right, because as you look at medicine, they're all, even your traditional doctors are now saying that inflammation is the cause of all disease. Well, we all have inflammation, but we all have different parts of the body that flare up. And
True
that,
statement.
and that becomes the spot that we continually have issues with. Be it your knees, your feet, your shoulders, or sometimes it moves around, more of a fibromyalgia where it's moving around. Again, it's an inflammatory process that hits the weakest point in the body. Some turns into cancer. I mean, again, cancer is not a death sentence, it's a wake-up call. So it's interesting to see how Western medicine makes it more of a death sentence for us, where it's a wake-up call, and it starts
Well,
again
that's the
with what we're-
pharmaceutical companies, right?
Correct.
The pharmaceutical companies would not be profitable if it wasn't a death sentence.
Correct. So, again, Hippocrates had it right. Food is medicine, medicine is food. So it starts, again, with the basics. If it's done right at the beginning, that food is actually going to be healthier by the time you go to eat it.
And that's what I love about doing organic food is because if I start with good ingredients, then I have a much higher success rate of being able to make them right.
And the flavors just pop.
Flavors pop. Eat grass-fed beef versus non-grass-fed beef. It's totally.
It
Totally
definitely tastes different. I'll never forget when I bought grass-fed beef for the first time and made pasta and red sauce with beef in there. And the kitchen smelled different, and my kids, I think my daughter was like 7 and my son was probably 4. And they're like, it doesn't smell right. And they took a couple bites. It doesn't taste good. I go, just eat it, it's just ground beef. But they could tell. No. interesting how we
Interesting,
get
yeah,
our taste buds tuned to certain tastes that we
Right.
want. So, and that's what the food companies want too.
Oh, yeah.
They want you to crave. You know, in the brain you have this chemoreceptor trigger zone that they purposely give you foods that have these ingredients in it, so that way you keep going to those foods,
Right.
grabbing for them. There's a lot of science
like
behind it.
Troy's popcorn
Oh,
with
popcorn!
the butter
I'll never
and
forget.
the salt.
I used to eat a lot of popcorn as a kid, and then I got away from it. But I bought organic popcorn. Oh my heavens, it tastes so much better.
It tastes better, and the wonderful thing is you don't have to buy Orville Redenbacher that has the most kernels that pop, because organic, almost all of them pop.
Yep. Bought it at a farmer's market, and it was great.
The quality and
Yeah.
the quantity you get out of it
Yeah.
is much more. You get much more volume per seed with the amount of seeds.
Even the dogs wanted it.
Dogs want everything.
Not mine. If
Oh,
it's
no,
not
no.
meat or fish or
Oh
tuna.
no, my dogs.
So,
My dogs were always like, if I stare at it long enough, it will be mine. They didn't care what it was.
yeah, so.
And
Yeah.
what do you pop your corn in?
I've been using olive oil.
Olive oil.
He's gonna start using air popper though, and some nutritional yeast.
I'm gonna try that. What brand of nutritional yeast? I wrote that down. Is there a
I
brand?
think there's only one kind that they have.
Sprouts?
Yeah,
Where do I find it?
Whole Foods or Sprouts.
it's in the
The fridge?
refrigerator section.
Huh.
Where did you
Brewer's
get yours
yeast
from?
too, I think, on popcorn.
Brewer's yeast?
Yeah.
What's in the refrigerator section?
The nutritional yeast. Or where did you find it at?
I found it at Sprouts, but I don't know, my daughter grabbed it, so.
Okay.
Does it come in a tub or something, or is it
No,
a
it's
powder?
just like a
No,
little powder,
yeah.
bottle with powder in it.
Yeah.
You just shake it on.
Yeah.
Well, you can buy it in bags too.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I gotta try it. Will it
good.
will it stick to the
Amazing.
popcorn?
Well, you have to throw a little bit of coconut oil on
So I
it.
can take this and. No, just a.
A little bit would be good.
I need the salt to stick to it too.
Killing me.
That's Himalayan.
Then I
It's
tell you what.
better.
Then I tell you what. Add a little bit of Parmesan cheese to it. You get your salt.
Okay, I can do that. No,
Jason likes the movie popcorn where he douses it in velvet butter. It makes me nauseated. I'm like, how can you eat all that?
so do you like what Parmesan cheese? The Giorgiano or
Giorgiano works perfectly fine. Yes.
then the green bottle?
What is that?
No.
What butter?
Which-
Don't use the Kraft one. Use the
Probably lard.
little from the deli.
Oh, so the
It
true.
comes in blocks.
The true shredded ones.
So the Giorgiano,
Yeah.
not the Kraft one.
No.
Okay.
No Kraft.
I get the non-dairy one from Sprouts.
What's it
Grated
made from?
Non-dairy does work too.
Yeah,
What's
grated
it made from?
Parmesan. I don't know.
Non-dairy one is soy.
Oh, it is soy. That better be non-GMO then.
You better look at
It
it.
said on it.
Did it say non-GMO?
Yeah.
You better look at it then.
Okay. I'm not a big soy fan because most of it's genetically
I'm,
modified.
yeah, like, I'm not a tofu person, which is all soy. I'm like, ugh. But
Okay.
I like the Parmesan.
See, this has been really good for me.
You keep saying that.
I
What
mean-
did you make from last month that you learned from last month?
I haven't actually been home to cook much.
You have had a little busy month.
Yes.
A little bit of a busy month, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a
And I thought it was going to slow down, but I'm getting last minute calls for stuff.
What did you guys discuss last month?
Last month was
Just
Eat the
the-
Rainbow,
Yes.
by eating different colors of vegetables. And next month, what's next month?
That's a good question.
Farm versus wild
Oh,
fish.
that's right.
Oh, fish.
Yeah, what's the difference? The difference is between farm
Farm
raised.
versus wild.
and then hopefully we'll
And
talk about.
sustainably farmed, we're gonna talk about
Yes.
that.
I need to. My wife won't touch any fish, so that's what we're gonna be talking about next week, not next week, next month. What's the
Mhm.
date on that? Is it 3-4 weeks from that? Let's see. That's gonna be
It's gonna be, is it the 12th?
the 12th of June. Fish farm versus wild. Interesting.
It'll be
Because
fun.
again, there's a lot of I'm reading a lot of research, and it talks about farm raised being high in different chemicals, and that's what we're going to talk about. And it's probably true.
Why?
And sustainable, the difference between sustainably farmed versus regular farmed, and
Well, you need to understand the difference between when I buy the organic chicken,
Mm.
cage-free chicken, Cause you were like, oh, the other one's cheaper, what's the difference? What are you getting? And I'm like, no hormones.
No hormones, no antibiotics.
Well, none added is fine, right? But as mammals, we all produce our own hormones.
Correct.
So they have some hormones in them. And they're not allowed to be put in the market until they test negative for hormones.
Correct.
Well,
So-
there's a lot of the trout hatcheries where, as a visitor, you may cast food to the trout, and it's some kind of Purina trout food.
Yeah, we're going
which
to talk about that.
We're gonna talk about
I'm
that.
looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna
I'd
be
love
very
to know what's
intriguing.
in the Purina.
Oh, wait till
trout
you
food.
find out.
It probably won't be sustainable.
That's why I've never done aquaponics, because I'd want to grow the food that I fed the fish.
Right.
So that's the issue. I'd go crazy for sure. So again, that'll be next in June here on the 12th.
Yes.
Again, like 5:30. So we're excited about that.
Mhm.
Again, as you're cooking, start with the healthiest fats. If you're going to do more of a ketogenic diet, again, this will be part of it.
Yeah, stick towards the monounsaturated fats
Yes.
more than the polyunsaturated fats. Mono is probably the best for you. Those are one ingredient. And they have a higher smoke point.
Well, nuts are monounsaturated.
Mhm.
Correct.
I
Which
was
is
so happy to see peanut butter under there.
Yes.
right. As long as you don't have a peanut allergy.
Oh, I love peanut butter.
And almond butter would be under there too, because almonds are under
almond
there.
butter is good
Yeah.
too.
Coconut butter or coconut.
Coconut oil? It
Yeah.
happens to be listed under the bad ones, but the
Oh, I
oils
see, okay.
itself are not necessarily bad. I think that the problem that comes with the coconut oil is they're really high in fat content.
I see. Yeah. 13 grams, 65%.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So don't use much of this.
So is it true that margarine is one molecule away from plastic?
It's
I think
I don't know the answer
yeah. I
to
don't
that
know.
question,
I don't
but
know.
I,
That's.
but
I,
it's not good for you.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
very healthy at
that
all.
can't be healthy.
I don't think it's not even on the market anymore, is it? Most of them?
Most of them are gone now. I think they're still
I think there's some, but they're making them with avocado oils or with olive oils.
right. Yeah, I remember reading something
don't
about
use
there,
that.
but
No.
We use vegan butter.
Yes.
but there was a big push to use margarine. I remember that as a kid.
Yep,
Oh yeah.
that's what we used.
We were stuck on sugar-free, fat-free, and because my mom was like, all this stuff has got to be better.
Amazing what marketing does, right?
They talked about the fact that we had gone up like 10 percentage points in diabetes and diabetes risk factors in the mid, maybe like 76, 77, 78. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we have a solution for that. We'll make it all sugar-free. We'll make it all fat-free.
Yeah, that's not a true statement. Margarine is not plastic.
It's not.
No.
Is that in the Urban Dictionary?
Well, it's
All myths about margarine,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're. Yeah, it's just not it's just not healthy. Period.
It's got a lot of trans fats.
Yes, and that's what makes it bad. So stick to butter, real butter,
Okay.
organic butter, vegan
Yeah.
butter. You're gonna be way healthier.
If I'm going to hell, I'm going to hell with real ingredients.
There you go. I plan to go to heaven with real ingredients. Okay. Oh, it's interesting. Yeah.
I'm glad you're not my judge. But that's okay.
That's for sure. Yeah. So plastics have long molecules. Yeah, polymers.
Did you see the new
Interesting. Yeah.
bags that are plant-based? They're made of garbage.
Yes.
The grocery market bags are plant-based.
They're completely biodegradable. Now.
Yes, yes.
So does that mean you could eat them?
You can eat them.
Hmm.
Absolutely, you can eat them. Now
With
I've
butter.
seen them.
Yeah,
There
with
you
butter.
go.
There you go. I'm gonna put some popcorn in there. And
Now you probably have to double and triple bag them, but at least they're starting to get to the point where they are offering
they're
some
making
bio bags.
cups that way now.
Well, that's all I use in my business
Straws.
is sugar cane cups and utensils. And if I never see another straw as long as I live, I'll be thrilled.
Didn't like straws.
Straws are part of the plastic problem.
Yeah. That's a big problem.
They're part of the plastic problem.
It's like a new continent.
Yes.
Because I've seen plant straws now.
Well, plant straws
They
or
don't
metal
work as well.
straws.
Yeah.
I find take your own metal straw, but I've had my girlfriend, I've asked people not to give me straws, I get them anyways. My girlfriend Dory counted one time that she asked for no straw and they kept bringing her cups of water and she got 7 straws even though she asked for no straws. And that's just one meal that she went to a restaurant to eat.
Yeah.
Those are hard to recycle.
Right.
They're not recyclable.
That's what you have to grind them up and it just screws up their equipment.
Mm-hmm.
They don't bother.
It'll take us time. We'll get smarter.
I hope.
Yeah, follow the money, and that's where you'll see the
I
real,
hope.
the real issue. Hopefully you enjoyed this.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
informative.
Oh,
I mean,
thank you so much, Doctor.
Oh, thank you
yeah,
guys.
it's interesting. Even with your cholesterol panel, you can get panels done that break down cholesterol down to the different lipids. You know, and it'll show you if you're deficient in 3, 5, 6, 7, 9.
And there's a couple of tests
So-
too that you can have broken down your cholesterol to see if
Yep.
even the
Then you got lipo A and lipo B.
even if the medication will help you, because I'm a person that medication will never help me. Doesn't matter.
Well, I'm not a fan of using a statin drug ever,
Yeah.
so I would never have you take a statin drug.
I've taken medication. I took medication from the time I was 18 till about 3 years ago, and it never made a dent in my cholesterol whatsoever. And it didn't matter whether I weighed 110 pounds or I think my cholesterol was lower when I was extremely overweight than when I was 110 pounds.
Well, that's another talk. So what's made from cholesterol? What's made from cholesterol? Hormones.
Oh.
All your sex hormones. So if you have high cholesterol, that's an issue. If you have low cholesterol, it's an issue. So again, hormones are made from cholesterol. Really intriguing.
So the bad side effects of statins are
Decreasing your cholesterol levels. Now you just messed with all the hormones. So those
Yeah.
statin drugs are now approved to be used in children down to the age of 8. They're still growing. So now you're affecting all their hormones, all
And
their
they
sex
cause
hormones.
insulin resistance, so
Correct. So
then
here they're already
increases
obesity.
which increases the chance of having diabetes.
And we already knew that was going to happen. Now the data there is showing that these statin drugs will cause diabetes. So here, your cholesterol's fine, but now you can know diabetes. That's Western medicine at its finest.
And so when people say to me that we don't know the true effects of GMOs, so they're not bad for you, I'm like, you don't know the true effects of GMOs and they are bad for you.
Right, just because we don't know,
You don't have
once
enough
they're
history.
around enough, we're seeing all these different cancers and things, and it's a combination of environmental, genetically modified, and pesticides. I know without a doubt.
Yes, I
Now,
agree.
can you quantify it? Not yet, but in time we will. In time we will.
Absolutely.
And that's why you have some of these companies that are trying to convince you and I as consumers that we don't need to label things if it's got genetically modified material, but it's going to happen. Because you and I as consumers are demanding it.
Yes.
Because if it doesn't say non-GMO, we're putting it back. We're not buying it. I know, at least I'm not, but consumers
not
are
either.
becoming smarter and smarter. You don't want GMO stuff. If it's in a box, it's got genetically modified stuff.
And this happens to be the one place where I'm totally thrilled with it being a fad. You know, like lipstick vegans, there's lipstick non-GMOs as well because they just go, oh, it's fatty, and so I don't want to have anything. My friends will ask me too many questions if I have a GMO product in my house. So I'm perfectly fine with people being lipstick non-GMO people.
You know, again, you got to look at just decreasing your exposure. I mean, every day we get exposed to benzene,
Yep.
which is from plastics. You know,
Benzene
you know where that
and-
exposure is coming from? You get in your hot car,
Oh, this is a true statement.
don't-
Yeah.
you don't
it's
roll
just
the windows
permeating
down.
the atmosphere
Yep.
from your
that-
interior.
Without gases.
It's outgassing, so it's important to roll that window down, get all that stuff out. Now that
But
might,
the air conditioner works better when you do that. That was the reason
Exactly.
why I do it.
Yeah. It cools down your car faster.
Right.
You don't put it on recycle or
Right.
recirculate.
Yep.
but you're gonna be healthier too. Crazy stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean,
Now,
people are,
granted, 100 years ago, before cars and all this stuff, we lived to be 55 years old, and our lifespan is much longer now. But we've evolved over a few years of learning how to do things.
So we're living longer unhealthy.
Absolutely. On chemicals.
We have more infirmity.
You just have to decide whether or not you want to live a long life and be healthy. Well, thanks you guys for coming.
That was
We totally
great.
appreciate it.
I think we can go for a couple more hours even.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many things you could talk about.
Yep. We'll look at your schedule for in a month, if it
Yeah.
works. And I'm gonna be advertising now. When I got after my IT guy
Promise.
and said, what's going on?